G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Invest Power series today. We know that when purchasing a property, the most important part is actually valuations and serviceability, of course. But putting serviceability aside, valuation is actually the other very critical factor, because if you imagine that the valuation of a property does not stack up, that means most of the time you actually need to fork out more money from your own deposit to be able to fund that shortfall. So I thought today it would be good to touch on and give everyone a bit of idea in terms of the different types of valuations and how you can use valuation to help you. So the first type of valuation that brokers like me usually get is what they call AVM, Automated Valuation Model. What does that mean in plain English? Basically what that means is it's a computer generated valuation. So how does it work? So computer generated valuation simply means that basically the computer will model out based on the recent sales around the area, usually happens within the last 6 months, and of comparable properties that is to your property or the property that you're looking at purchasing or refinancing. So, it collects all these data in the back end and automatically, based on the aggregated data that it has, derive an actual figure of what they think your property is worth, and it's called AVM. So these type of valuations, when we get them, we actually, brokers actually get them very fast. When we order, generally within a couple of hours, because it's basically all based on computer algorithms, right? So if you imagine that the data is already there based on the recent sales, and then the computer just generates all the, using these data and also the algorithm that's behind the scenes, and then automatically derive an actual valuation. No human intervention is required here. So it's important to note. And because of the fact that it's computer generated and does not involve human interaction, it's only an estimate, and that's what they call AVM, is only an estimate. It does not represent the true value of your property. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. I've seen some vastly wild AVMs that can swing around. Sometimes, let's say for example, if it's a $600,000 property again, some AVMs may, depending on the algorithm, may go up to 650 or even 700, and some may even go under, like 550, for example. So it can vary quite significantly. And in this scenario, it is one of those valuation models that the bank will be able to adopt depending on which lender that you use. And certainly AVM is one of them that you can use either to your advantage, which hopefully you have a good broker that can actually help you with this, or they may have to look at getting to the next level of the valuation. So apart from AVM, the next type of valuation is called a desktop valuation. Now, some desktop valuations are essentially generated by computer again, so it's similar to AVM, but some lenders actually have a desktop valuation that involves human intervention. So in that case then, basically what it is a computer generated model, which obviously works out a derived figure, just like the AVM, except in this case, there's actually a human being involved in this scenario to actually have a look at whether the number is actually feasible and manually go through the aggregated data that it has. So the comparable properties, and then, just to ensure that the number is not crazy, like some of the AVMs which may do. So in this case, desktop valuations may not vary that wildly, and usually falls within a reasonable range of whatever the true value of the property is, because of that extra level of human intervention. Okay, so desktop valuation can take up to a day or two in terms of obviously how busy it is and how much data there is, and are usually slightly more accurate than AVM, but not as accurate as the short form valuation, which I'm going to touch on next. So after AVM, the next type of valuation that you'll be looking at to get is what they call a short form valuation. So short form valuation actually involves an actual valuer. So this is where you will actually get an independent valuer to actually go out and see the property. Okay, so they actually will enter the property, have a look at it, and based on the comparable cells. So again, it's human intervention here. They'll pull up, using the system, will pull up the comparable properties plus what the valuer actually see on the day in order to derive a most reasonable, and when I say reasonable, valuation of the property that you're looking at. So this one obviously will take the most time, and it also depends on the availability of either the tenant or the owner to be able to open the door for the valuer to inspect the property. So the turnaround time could vary significantly depending on one, the valuer availability, and two, the tenant/landlord availability to be able to open the doors. Okay, and some lenders do charge a fee for short form valuation, so just need to be mindful of that. Whereas for desktop valuation and AVM valuation that we spoke about in the last two, those are usually computer generated, does not involve human intervention, and therefore does not require a cost. So just need to keep that in mind and check with your broker in case that there is a cost. Make sure that you get informed upfront before proceeding. Now, not all short form valuation is going to be coming back at whatever that you expect. So, again, because of that human intervention, it doesn't necessarily mean that whatever that the valuer gives it is the true intrinsic value of the property. I have, as a broker, I have seen, for example, you send out 4 different type of valuation companies and 4 different type of valuation came back varying drastically again. So, it is a bit of luck and straw, I have to say. There's a lot of factors behind it. Maybe the valuer just didn't have a good day. He or she might enter the house, have a look at it, 5 minutes later decided to get out, don't like the property. And because there's human intervention involved, and obviously there's emotions involved to a certain degree as well, and that's why most of the time if you're looking at getting a valuation, it's better off to actually get multiple valuations if you're looking at doing refinances and see which one that comes back the highest, what we call valuation shopping. So you go around and shop for valuations and see which one comes back the highest, and that will be really helpful if you are looking at releasing equity for your future purchases. Okay, so there's a bit of tips for everyone today for different types of valuations. As always, if you got any questions in relation to what we covered today, feel free to drop in an email, david@landpower.com.au, or simply just comment below. If you found today's content helpful, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. I'm sure I'll have more contents for you in the upcoming 2020. So give us a feedback, let us know what you like, let us know what you want to see more. Or even more, let me know what's not helpful. So that way I can continue to improve, because don't forget, this channel is made for everyone, here to solve your problem. So let me know if there's anything I can help. But until next time, it's Dave from Empower. I'll see you again in next Invest Power episode.